Hi there, I'm Katy Churchill, cam girl and stuff. Today I want to talk about some of the most common questions I get asked by people who are interested in starting camming or who have questions about what it's like to start camming. Full disclosure, this is not all of the questions I get asked because a lot of them are probably pretty YouTube inappropriate, but I'm going to kind of cover sort of the main ideas that people ask about and that kind of thing. If you have other questions, ask me in the comments below, and if it's not like YouTube no, I would be happy to answer them for you. Yeah, so let's get started. I'm gonna say a lot because for some reason I'm really nervous about making this video. So I have a video already about how I personally got interested in camming and started camming, and I'll put it up in the cards, whichever side that's on. So you can get an idea of how I kind of came across camming and researched it and stuff like that. So I get asked how I started. That tells you how I got interested in it. I started out on the sites StreamMate and MyFreeCams. I started on StreamMate, went to MyFreeCams, worked there for a while, for probably over a year, and then switched back to StreamMate because the private one-on-one thing was more my style. And then I added in Skype and so on, and now I'm primarily a Skype cam girl. I've been camming for 4 and a bit years. I started filming videos about 6 months after I started camming, and I didn't actually start doing phone sex until about 2 years after I started camming, which was about the same time as I started also offering Skype shows. I've been doing exclusively Skype shows for about a year now? About a year. So people always want to know, does my family know what I do? How do I deal with people finding out? Can they keep it a secret from their family? I personally told my family. I decided to tell them before they found out on their own because I like to control the message a little, you know? I'm like that, a little bit control freak. But you should always assume that people in your life are going to find out. If you're doing it and it would be the end of the world if somebody found out, you're screwed already. I have been found by people I know completely accidentally. They weren't searching for me or anything. And again, I told my family because I would rather have it that way than maybe my brother telling my family after he found me on Pornhub or something. So I personally told my family. Not all of my friends know. I kind of pick and choose on a basis of how close we are and what I think their reaction to it will be. But all of my close friends know. And only my immediate family knows, my mom, my dad, and my brother. My extended family doesn't know. I'm not that close with my extended family, so that's a little bit easier for me. I didn't have to deal with like telling grandma or anything like that. But again, if you're going into it and it would ruin your entire life if anyone you knew found out, don't do it. Because somebody will find you. It happens. Hell, when I was in university, I saw a girl I knew on a pop-up ad for a porn site that was on a site that wasn't related to porn. So, someone's gonna see you sometime. And also with that, can I wear a wig? Can I wear a mask? Can I not talk? Can I not show my face? And the answer to those is, of course you can. It's going to affect how much money you make though. I mean, unless... Well, wigs, not as much. Lots of girls wear wigs to change their hair color or whatever. But if you're, you know, seriously attempting with makeup to change the look of your face, if you're going to wear a mask, if you don't want to talk, if you don't want to show your face, you better have something else going for you big time, or it's really going to affect your income. So you either better have like the mainstream perfect body, but even then, I don't know, because there's so many girls with mainstream perfect bodies who talk and show their face and don't wear masks, or you better really find a fetish niche that you can absolutely kill. But again, if you feel that you have to substantially obscure yourself to avoid recognition, again, it's probably not a good idea for you to get into this. And I know I'm sounding really negative, but you have to be realistic. There is a huge stigma about sex work and sex workers. And don't kid yourself, being a cam girl is sex work. There's a whole like whorearchy or hierarchy of whores where people are like, oh no, but being a cam girl is better than being an escort, which is better than this, which is better than that, and stripper, like, fuck all that. People look at you the same. They don't care if you're riding a dildo in your bedroom, talking to someone online who's 5,000 kilometers away, or if you're being paid to have sex with someone. People look at it the same. They make the same assumptions about you, and you need to understand that. And if people making those assumptions about you would ruin your life, this is not the business for you. People will find out. They will make those judgments about you. You probably will lose some friends. You may lose the support of your family. I went through a really difficult phase with my family as we sort of dealt with things together. I do have a video coming out fairly soon, in the next month or so about it, about how I told my family, how we negotiated through the process, some of the things I talked with them about, and where we currently stand in terms of our relationship and their they support. Anyway, that's for a different video because it'll make this really long if I talk about it. If you are thinking about doing this as something to do to make money to go to school, I want you to think really, really hard about what you want your career to be. There are some careers where if it comes out that you worked in the sex industry, it could be devastating to your career, especially if you are still currently working in it, but people will still make judgments based on your past employment. And employment is not a protected category. Someone can fire you for finding out that you used to do sex work, and there's nothing you can do about it. If you want to work with children, or if you currently do work with children, or vulnerable populations, that could be a problem. If you're planning to go to school to be a preschool teacher and you want to do sex work, you may want to reconsider that. All you need is for a parent to find you on a tube site, and you will be posted on tube sites. There is no way to prevent it. You can geo-block the shit out of everything, but some jackass is going to buy a video and post it on Pornhub, or they're going to screenshot or screen cap and record your cam show and post it on Pornhub. It's going to happen. And it's not just Pornhub. That's just the one that I name. I'm talking about all the tube sites. Xhamster, YouPorn, RedTube, all of those. You're going to get posted on them. Everybody does. I did when I was a brand new cam girl. I hadn't even done one private show and someone recorded my free chat. So, ta-da! Looking back on it now, y'all, it's really embarrassing. I was so awkward. But yeah, it happens. If you think about a parent finding out, if you think about a boss finding out, if you think about a patient finding out, if you're thinking about going into the medical field, it could pose a real problem. A lot of jobs that have like a state or province or national board, like nurses, teachers, things like that, a lot of them have professional standards clauses where if you do something that they consider embarrassing to the profession, and it's usually up to their discretion, they can pull your licensing. So if you're doing this while you have another job, or if you're doing this and planning to go into a job, I highly recommend looking at things like your licensing and finding out if it can be revoked for things like unprofessional conduct or like professional standards or, you know, that kind of thing. And also, if you have children, whether you're with a partner or not, you need to check if your state has a history of taking children away from people involved in the sex industry. There have been some pretty well-circulated cases of cam girls, cam models, having their kids taken away in custody battles or by Child Protective Services or whatever. So that's something that you really need to consider. I don't have kids, I don't have a family, I have a cat. And if someone wants to take him away, bless their heart, he's a total asshole. So good luck with that. They'll probably bring him back in like 2 days. But I don't have that consideration to make. I don't think that being involved in sex work makes you a bad parent. I think it's absolutely fucking ridiculous that we even have to talk about the fact that you could lose a job because you once got naked on the internet. Like, and it's one thing to say it shouldn't be that way and that people should not be like this and that, like, it's not fair and it's not acceptable and it's such a ridiculous double standard and that society shouldn't be that way. But it is that way. And in my perfect world, it wouldn't matter. And you could have your kids, and as long as you're not exposing them to porn, which is a rule that, like, should just be a general parent rule. Don't expose your kids to porn. But, you know, like, as long as you're being a good parent and not, like, you know? But, I mean, in my opinion, that shouldn't affect it. You should be held to the exact same standards as other people, whether or not you're a good parent. Not whether or not you have a socially acceptable job. You know, like, I mean, okay, if you're a drug dealer, maybe, like, take your kids away because you're breaking the law by doing your job. But, you know, like, but you need to be cognizant of the fact that whatever you believe to be morally right or wrong, or that you think society's fucked up or whatever, you do have to address the fact that this is a society we live in. I used to volunteer with kids in vulnerable populations. I no longer volunteer there because if a parent found out or a caretaker found out, and that could possibly be a huge problem for me. It could result in me being exposed in a general community, which might cause problems with my neighbors and things like that. And I don't want that to happen. I don't want to be accused of anything, and I don't want to deal with having to go through that possible experience. So I choose to volunteer with other organizations instead. And it's stupid. And with my volunteer background and education and things, those organizations are missing out on a damn good volunteer. But I have to be realistic about it. And it could blow up into a huge freaking disaster. Whereas with the other organizations I'm working with, it would still suck. And I would prefer to not have it broadcast everywhere. But at the same time, it would be, there wouldn't be able to be any accusations of any inappropriate behavior on my part, which is ridiculous. Like, the fact that I have to think about the fact that someone might accuse me of doing something inappropriate at a volunteer gig just because I make porn is so fucking dumb and beyond stupid. But it's something you have to think about. I don't want to cam, I just want to get paid to be in videos like a porn star. There are modeling agencies you can join that do specialize in placing you with porn companies, but that's for girls. For guys, good fucking luck. Every guy wants to be in porn. You would have to show your face, you'd have to talk, you'd have, like, there's no, unlike with women, there is no way for you to obscure your identity. If you want to obscure your identity, you might as well just shoot stuff in your own bedroom. Like, and let's put this in perspective. I have worked with some professional studios to do fetish work. I'm paid 6 times what the male talent is paid. 6 times. And this isn't straight sex. It's not cock and pussy. It's fetish work. So it's him being stood on and sat on and being submissive. And you don't get to do what you want to do. You don't get to say, well, this is what I want to do and I want to do it until I come. You do exactly what you're told to for the video. So you may really enjoy it. You may not really enjoy it. It's a long day and it's not the easiest, and you sometimes have to reshoot things, and if you fuck it up you gotta go back and do it again. And again, I'm paid 6 times what they're paid, and I am not by any means top dollar talent, so it's not like I'm getting a premium for my name or anything like that. Yeah. So if you want to get into porn as a dude, Just don't. People will make the same judgments about you as they do about women, and you think, oh yeah, but I get to have sex with hot chicks. Yeah, but you basically get paid nothing. Everyone in your life will judge you. And unless you're a really good actor, insanely attractive, or have something great about your dick, it's probably not going to happen. You need to be able to maintain an erection for a minimum of 4 hours, and ideally you can come more than once. And most of it is standing around being bored and waiting for lights to move. So if you're a dude who wants to get into porn, I hope you have a trust fund. And finally, how do you transition out of camming? People keep asking me this. I don't fucking know. I'm in it to win it. I'm actively involved in the industry right now, and I don't have plans to leave it at the moment. But I do have side projects and volunteer stuff that I work on so that I can keep my resume active and have things that I can bring to employers, because you never know. I mean, the US government could decide that porn is a crime, and we would have to deal with that. Tube sites have impacted everybody's income. Piracy is a big issue. You know, like, there's all sorts of reasons that someone could decide to leave the industry, lower earnings, anything. But I just try to keep my options open by keeping my resume up to date, and by having projects I have on the side that are vanilla or non-sex work related, so that if I had to, I could show a potential employer a portfolio of work. So I can't exactly waltz up and be like, so I'm really great at social media. Here's my tits. Lots of people retweeted it. So I have some other social media stuff using the same skills from this, and some web content, web design things using the same skills I learned doing my sexy stuff, but doing things that are non-sex related, so that down the road, if I need to, I can use those as an example. So yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. I could do a part 2 with the questions y'all asked me. That's it. That's all for now. See you later.